Hello, how's everybody doing tonight? Welcome on in to the big show. Lord, I feel like the Hot Mess Express. Sorry for being late. Had a phone call. Hang on, guys. I'm 1 second. Okay, now I think I'm set up. It's taking me a minute to get my bearings today. I felt all out of sorts today. This damn vertigo shit was happening, and the energy and the energy felt off everywhere. Okay, trying to get trying to get it back in check. I don't want to spill my coffee. Hold on, I got to adjust my chair, and I don't want a tragedy to occur. Just made that damn coffee, and I want it. Okay, got my short ass up here now. I can see. Okay. Ah, all right. Now that y'all know my struggles. Phew, man. Oh, Andy's live is back up. So anybody who might have missed that today, it is up. Apparently, somebody thought it was bullying, harassment. Just evaluating, reviewing, and talking about what an incident that occurred is now, somebody can say, oh, I didn't like what you said about me. Words hurt, sticks and stones and all. Anyway, it's back up. Good for Andy, because there was nothing literally that should have made that live stream go down the way it did, other than somebody getting hurt feelings over some words said. But here's the thing about women like me, Jay, Andy, and a few other women, Christina, we don't run around behind backs. So I don't know, I'm just, from what I've seen outside looking in, we don't got to run around behind backs and do it secretly in text. We'll just say it right here, right now, right? Get over yourself. So the live is back up. And for those who may have been wondering, Ted has been marked safe, and Alex is back, boots on the ground in front of Miss Nancy's house. I don't know where that other dude is, the JLR guy, the arm sock bandit. Don't know where he's at. I hear tales something about court. I don't know. We're not here to discuss all that. We're going to let that shit go, because guess what? My energy is weird. I just know that one dude got dropped off at an airport abruptly after a discussion at a gas station, and then today he's like, I'm good, people. There's some funny songs being created out there. I wonder if they're going to get told, you're bullying me in your song. Like, I don't know. Yeah. We were just having a review over there at Andy's, right? Of Christina's, the video of Christina being harassed at the crime con, because some people feel like they're entitled, and even though there's no court documents involved this time, why are you in my face even talking to me, sir? Are you my daddy or my husband? Do I know you? What are you doing talking to me? Goodbye. End of story. Walk away. So the fiasco, the crime of CrimeCon. No, I will not be going to that shit show. I've never really. I thought about it once. It was about all it was a thought. That was a couple years ago when it was in Orlando. It was just a thought. I'm all right, because all those presentations they're, like I told y'all earlier today, you can now see them all on YouTube. They just didn't want people videoing them and putting them out there, sneak peeks and all. Don't do it. Why all of a sudden is there a big debate at the crime con about who we can film and where we can film, when every time we turn on the YouTubes, what do we see? Video of somebody somewhere doing something, right? It's only a problem when it happens to true crimers. Now we don't like the cameras, we don't like the questions, and we don't like none of this. Law and crime's gonna air my shit. Y'all can fix that real easily. Word to the wise. All right, because I've been wanting to talk true crime with you guys. Y'all know that we're going to unpack some Idaho 4 stuff here. That's what we came here to do tonight, to watch that interview I was telling you guys about. But tomorrow morning, I will be back live, because I do want to talk about something. Over there at the interview room, I got the big theories going down over there. They live large. Um, Chris has a new theory based on some stuff he saw that we've already seen, and I'm like, dude, you really need to watch the rest of that. Maybe you'll have a different opinion. But he feels like the blood trail from Nancy's porch leads down the sidewalk. So if you're coming out of Nancy's home, being kidnapped, taken out, you're going down the path instead of going all the way to the end and entering a parked car. He feels like they veer off to the right, take off through the yard there to somewhere with a car waiting somewhere. And then, like, one of the older cops there said, well, we would surely could use a aerial visual. Dude, there are a dime a dozen everywhere on the internet. Hell, we got a couple right here loaded up and ready to go. I don't know where that phantom car would have parked, but they might have been onto something, because I've always felt like the car was parked at the very edge, farthest to the driveway, far edge to the scrub as possible, right? Well, that makes sense. Until we remove our camera with our magic vine. Oh, which reminds me, speaking of magic vines, somehow Wiccan entered the chat and McDonough was ready to roll with it. And I thought, well, damn, did he feel that way when they looked at Delphi? what? What? Because somebody at the crime con mentioned those vines could be a Wiccan thing. Oh, yeah, tell me more. I'm like, what? No, Annie's not a Wiccan. Calm down. That was not Annie grabbing the vines, and it wasn't nothing to do with the poor Wiccans. Well, I don't know. Some of y'all may be offended by the Wiccans. I don't know any. I don't know nothing about them except I don't know. Some people call them devil worshippers. I really don't know what they do. I never really studied it. Like, okay, you be you. Weird. It's weird how we're willing to entertain subjects like that in one case, right? But not another. And while he's explaining, guys, y'all know me. Okay, so while he's explaining this path down the sidewalk and he goes into why, and I've got a lot of things set up to show maybe why not. But oh hell, that comment popped up, made me lose my trail. You'll bail him out. Of what is he getting into trouble over there? Are y'all getting my? Hey, wait, is Forrest in trouble? Because that's rare. Well, maybe not. But he. Wait a second, Keith. They don't want me at the crime con. They think Bullhorn Betty's bad with her bullhorn. Give me that son of a bitch. Let me have at this. Y'all all fixing to get talking to. How about that, you weirdos? We have a saying down here in this part of the South: get some act right. Jesus, just get some act right. Within 2 days, I got that dog in there whipped into shape. Come on, man. If the dog can get some act right, the fucking humans can. Jeez. I just thought it was interesting that we can. Oh, I know what I was going to say. As they're describing the blood coming down the sidewalk and possibly veering off before you ever get to this iron handrail. So Dr. Gary chimes in. So, just to be clear, are you suggesting staging could have occurred? I was like, oh my God, he didn't. Somebody stop him right now before he gets out of hand. And they did. They're like, no, 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 we're not suggesting that at all. I'm like, how'd you get there, doctor? How'd you get there to that staging all of a sudden? Why we got experts coming out talking about stage scenes all the time? Like, what are y'all? You making up stuff to write books about? What are you doing? Now, what happens when we get a crime with a real stage scene? Are we going to believe your asses? Jesus Christ. Yeah, Simi. I who knows? I've been called and labeled a lot of things. I probably incorporate a little bit of it all, right? Without even knowing it. I probably incorporate some of that Wiccan, some of that pagan, some of this, some of that, some of this, some of that Christianity, a little bit of it all wrapped up into spirituality. But I know one thing: you can walk in the light or the dark. The choice is yours, no matter which way you roll. You can do good or evil. Ask Lori Vallow and her fucking stupid ass portals. Anyway, I'll let Chris entertain that Wiccan theory all he wants with the little vines, but I'm going to stick to my theory of the vines were being used to remove the camera. Did it work? We don't know because the camera went off. Last thing we see is vines, and then the camera goes bye bye. Poof. So you tell me. It's open for debate. Oh, Maureen and I agree we should have used the MVAC on that rug. All right, let's get to this Idaho 4 stuff. It's been a minute since I've visited the Koberger case. So I was telling y'all all the drama that went down at the crime con, right? That interview happened with the Gonzalez family and that whatever that guy's name is. Sorry, guy, I don't mean to throw shade. I don't know your name. I'll apologize. I'll find it in just a second. I got your video, and I'll give you your credit. What's his name? I confuse him with another guy. I'm always hesitant to say his name until I know who. I just don't pay enough attention sometimes to some of these people. And again, I don't know anything about this creator. If you don't care for him, fine. Like I tell y'all, a lot of times I'll go watch an interview. It's got nothing to do with the creator. It's got to do with the person being interviewed, right? You got to take one for the team and do a lot of recon sometimes and nose around and shit you don't want to. And sometimes you got good enough sense to stay far away. Oh, that Crime Talk, is that his name? I think a lot of y'all are familiar with this guy already. I don't know his name. Crime Talk, whoever he is, what's his name? Y'all tell me in chat. I don't know. Okay, so he was at the Crime Con too, and apparently the Gonzalez family, they knew who he was. I guess they've watched him a few times. So they introduce themselves and they start having a conversation. Let me get this to the act. It's a long video. He interviews Gigi and a few people in this piece, and then at the very end, the Gonzalez's come up. So let me get there. Oh shit! Oh, crap! Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. I thought my phone was off, but I had an important phone call come in. That scare you, Rach? My phone ringing? Because it's got like a regular ring, right? I don't with that weird. I want to be able to hear it because the only time I'm at home, it's usually in the other room. I don't carry my phone room to room to room, so I got to hear it if it rings. And the only time I go see if it's one of my kids. Otherwise, I don't care. I'll call you back. I got voicemail for a reason. I grew up in an age where we didn't have a phone glued to our ass. So if I miss your call, my bad. Maybe I was busy. But kiddos are a different story. That's the only time I answer my phone. Literally, people know that about me. They know she ain't answering that phone. We gotta tell her it's important. And if I do not know you, you're not getting answered too. I don't give a shit. Okay. So let me bring this up. That's his name. I just saw it post. Thank you, Butterfly, Pammy. Scott, is it Reish? Okay. I always want to. He looks like that Bobby Crime. See, I thought it was Crime Talk with Bobby. Maybe that's got a similar name or something. That guy I see on Facebook when I accidentally venture into that place. He reminds me of that guy, but I know he's not the same guy, so I always like, don't want to insult. All right, let me make sure we're at the right spot. Okay, we are. Oh, wait. I gotta do this. Let me get all this squared away back here. Okay. And then we're going to get into some documents that unsealed documents. All right. Okay. Now, people who have followed the case are probably, like a lot, are probably familiar with this couple. Have seen a lot of their interviews. Some may have seen some here and there. Some may not have seen many at all. Some people feel a certain type of way about them, but they're a family member. I don't. It's what it is. You know what I mean? I don't have nothing bad to say about them. Have there been times I thought they probably should take a moment, step back? Yeah, but I think a lot of families go through that, and who am I to tell them, right? How just because I would don't mean they would. Sometimes you can't. If you feel like you're the only one that's going to fight for your loved one, would you go balls to the walls? Would you be able to ignore every time you turned around? It's easy to say, well, just ignore it. They shouldn't go online right now. And I've said that even when there was the big photo dump, right, and all the gory scene photos that are going to come out in these cases. That's when I said they should take a moment from the internet, because that stuff's going to come out, that kind of thing. But so they start talking. They've always had Steve has been always been very vocal about the Idaho investigation. He's always had questions, and rightfully so, right? So anyway, he's going to start talking, but he says in this interview that Idaho approached them and said, "We'll give him a plea deal, but we'll give him an Alfred plea." Now, is that just Steve Gonzalez rambling per usual? Could be, but this is a very specific thing to say. He didn't just say, "Oh, they gave him a plea and we didn't like it. No allocution." No. That's not what he said. Said that and quite a bit much more. We're going to take a look. So here we go.
Just never know, ladies and gentlemen. Good things come from crime con, just like that. So, all right, we're going to make our way back. I think there's so many people here. We could literally talk to everyone probably for an hour or so, but probably don't have enough battery life to do that. So I think the thing to do is, wait, hold on.
Hey,
How are you doing?
I like your channel.
Thank
I like
you.
your view.
You cover the coworker case. That's
Yes.
our
You
daughter.
cover it from
Our
an
daughter.
educated,
Yes.
well-known
Hey, sometimes
fact.
I get mad at you though.
Say that one more. Say that one more time into the microphone.
You cover it
please.
from a well-educated fact point.
Yes.
And that's missing in YouTube a lot
and,
of times.
and I love watching you, but sometimes I'm like, I don't want to watch them tonight. Turn it.
Really, what do I say that upsets you?
No, you kind of play devil's advocate sometimes, which is fine. It's hard to take sometimes.
Well,
it's hard to take.
he does it from both.
Because all I want is just to hear that he's the worst person in the world. That's all I want to hear.
Well, I think he proved that by his guilty plea.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, because she made that statement, all I want to hear is he's the worst person in the world. I guarantee you she's already been torn to pieces on the internet by Koberger supporters. She has the right to feel the way she feels. The man said, "I did it. I'll sign the paper. It says I did it." I'd feel the same way.
So that's
Sometimes I know it's frustrating. The criminal justice system, the wheels move awfully slow sometimes, but you have to be patient.
I know.
But by the end of the day, the truth, or a pretty darn close version of it, is going to come out.
Yeah, it will.
Whether through a trial or whether through a guilty plea, the truth comes out.
Yeah, and that's the message that people need to hear, because the days of getting away with these murders are going to get less and less and less, because this technology, we're learning about like how they can do hair samples without the follicle, the shoe labs, but there's new technologies coming out, and we're going to scare.
He just mentioned the 2 labs and hair follicles like Astria, not Quantico, right, Steve? Yeah, Steve, you on to Steve? You've been educating yourself. Look at my man.
The heck out of people.
Yep, these people are going down.
Between the technology, the license plate readers, the GPS, the phones,
CCTVs everywhere. Yep.
I mean,
Drones.
I'm telling you,
I wouldn't want to commit a crime.
it's amazing these days. They will track you down and get you.
It's good. We started a foundation. I don't know if we could give it to one
Sure,
of you.
yeah,
This is
give
our
us a- give us a
foundation.
plug, give
Yeah.
us a plug.
It's the Kaylee Gonzalez Foundation. Murder has a name, and we want to fund advanced DNA forensic testing, including IgG for when the law enforcement runs out of funds and it winds up on a cold case. We will pick up the cost and pay for these accredited labs that we've partnered with.
There's literally thousands of cases waiting for funding.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because again, somebody asked me in the chat, was I sure that, well, they were like, oh, that we know of. No, that we know of, Brian Koberger was the first active investigation to use IgG. All the rest were cold cases, right? They're gonna, so the foundation they have helped set up for in Kaylee's name, Murder Has a Name, because they're like the rest of us, they're kind of sick of that word unalived. Coddle America with these soft words, because real words are too much for our little soft brains. Murder Has a Name is the foundation, and they will be raising funds, I guess, and helping families be able to afford IgG on their cold cases. That's pretty cool. And guys, thank you for those. What are these gifts that are coming in? Thank you. Salty, stay hydrated. Yes, and that's a part of also helping to fight this vertigo. So I was doing that earlier. Thank you so much. Flows and Pammy, you sent some sun. What is it? I'm still getting used to these things, guys. Thank you, guys.
I was just talking about that. Even sane kits. There's a backlog, at least in the state of Colorado, and they've tried to pass legislation, but most people don't realize that it's expensive to do DNA testing. It's not like you just drop it in, and it's a couple of day process to actually do the testing with multiple people doing the cutting, to do running it through the machines, to do the statistical analysis. Then you're like, okay, now we got it. Is there somebody in the CODIS system? Oh, there's not.
There's not.
Then you got to wait until maybe genetic genealogy comes in.
Yep.
And most people don't realize they just people. And it used to be. I remember we had a case where we were trying to prove a client innocent, and there was some testing that was new at the time, and it was like $100,000 to do the testing. So the price has come down. It's going to continue to come down, obviously.
Yes.
And there's going to be bigger and bigger samples, and more people are going to be in those databases, and they're going to find the people.
And that's another thing with our foundation. We really want to push the upload to GEDmatch, which is a forensic tool that investigators are allowed to use. So, any of these.
She said that investigators are allowed to use the GEDmatch. Allowed to use keywords. Don't forget.
Home DNA kits that you do for free, you could upload it to GEDmatch, and it's controversial. I get it. You're not going to get everybody to do it.
People don't understand. IgG does not find the guy who did it. It finds the people who didn't do it. It really does that by getting close as you can to him through his family. But it's not them. They're not.
So C.C. Moore was talking about a data bank they have started that they're trying to get legs, right? And it's not for you to go upload to find your relatives. It's to upload your DNA to see if you are related to anybody who's a bad guy, just to help society. Which I kind of get that, but at the same time, I'm like, what if y'all make a mistake at the lab and get me instead? What? I got bad guys in the family, maybe not.
Like a lineup. And you say, no, none of those guys are that. That's what it is. So people think if they put it up there, they're going to be committed of a crime.
No, they have to go and find the people, look at it, and they look at all the tests, the little jumps on the little lines, and they say, oh, this is the allele, and this is an 11 and 12. And guess what? On the DNA sample that we found, this allele, it's an 11 and 12. So and you gotta have so many things. Yeah, we got.
Yeah, it's got to match, dude. You're correct, and you are correct. Was that like little coffee cups I saw cheering? That is so cute.
the mail and these
the
different
process of elimination, and it's the best way that you could ask your case to be tried. You don't want eyewitnesses saying Steve was there. I'm pretty sure it was it. That those days are over, man. You want
Oh, the days of the eyewitness are over. Ouch. Eh. Well, a lot of times we don't have an eyewitness, do we? And then sometimes when we do, we are very unclear about what they saw.
to have signs say
DNA.
you were there or you weren't there, or free your name. Like you were saying, that's the kind of stuff you want. We're not even against it being there to be used to free somebody up. We want the truth. That's however we get to.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody wants to. I've never met a DA that really wanted to convict innocent people.
No.
I mean, we want to make sure we get the
Oh,
right people.
Jesus Christ. I hope not. I've never met a DA that really wanted to prosecute innocent people. Oh, Jesus Christ. Do we even got to make a statement like that in the United States of America? That's appalling.
And look
Absolutely.
stupid because it'll eventually get caught.
I
You know?
mean, as a parent of a murdered child,
I mean, I know it happens. I'm just saying it is appalling.
I 100% want the person who murdered my child. I don't want an innocent man in prison and the real guy out there just living his dandy life. No, absolutely not. Like, no. So, I mean, we were 100% about this is the right guy, and they told us early on. And, you know,
I said, I haven't seen enough yet. They need to share more with me to understand. I need the dots connected. And once they showed us, you know, the way that the sheik was pulled up and the splatter and all the things that they're both, Kaylee, Maddie were there. He was on there. A cop couldn't have just dropped it. Impossible, because he couldn't have got them both there at the same time, because the way that it was aspirated and then pulling it up left that pattern of the sheaf there.
A void was on the bed when
Exactly.
the sheep
So I
was
was
picked
like,
up.
all right, we got 100% this. It's
It was
over. It's done with.
planted.
Let's go to court. And then we didn't get to go to court.
I understand. I mean, and well, if you watched, I mean, I was like, well, you know, there could be something. But once the DNA came out, I was like, it's over.
It's over. It's
And
over.
I mean,
On the
I'm a
sheet,
criminal
at
defense
the crime
attorney.
scene? Yeah.
What are the odds?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I know they came up with some statistical number
Oh,
that,
yeah. Oh,
you know,
yeah.
1 in 700,
3.37 octillion,
5.37 octillion that just, it was
which
his
is not
DNA.
enough people in the world or enough planets with people on the Earth.
Yeah.
So you take the total population and all the planets, you still wouldn't have enough
Yeah.
to figure out
No,
that that's who it is.
We're pretty convinced.
And-
That's pretty convincing.
And I still get people,
Oh yeah.
somebody sent me something on my Twitter the other day. You know, he's innocent. He couldn't have
All
done
the
it by
time.
himself. Blah 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 blah. And I
See, the Koberger case was all banked on one thing: DNA. Everybody's like, well, all that other evidence, it was all circumstantial. And I don't know that a jury would have ever got there without a sheath being in that home. They would have never got Koberger's name without the sheath. All they would have had was a white car on the neighboring surveillance video, along with all these other cars on that same video.
responded back, "You're crazy."
You're crazy.
Okay,
He
it
did
doesn't
it all
matter
the
what you
time.
think. It doesn't matter what you believe. It only matters what you can prove in court with legal and competent evidence. And his DNA was there. My DNA wasn't there.
Yeah.
Right? None of these people's DNA.
No.
It was his.
Yeah.
What are the odds? It happened to be on the K bar that he bought.
Yeah.
The sheath.
Mhm.
Right?
That
Like
he
I always
bought.
said,
That
I
he
had.
They did have proof that he bought the sheath, or a sheath, you know, K-bar and sheath, through the Amazon. We unpacked all that, and there's more of that unredacted coming out. But he did purchase one, circumstantial. We still wouldn't have got his name if we hadn't had the DNA left at the scene, because the phone dumps show a bunch of numbers, right? Which one do you follow? Which one? What does it mean? Just because the phone number was near a home. Oh, 12 times. But now they know whose phone that was, right? But they had to go back and find all of that once they got that name. And they started looking into him to that with warrants for his phone and all of that. Then it's like, But until that point, there was nothing to point the finger at Brian Koberger. And not one single person in Moscow pointed the finger toward Brian Koberger.
Mine.
Account buying.
Exactly.
Yeah, you actually had one. I remember that. You had the
Yeah.
military background.
Yeah, I got that the summer of '88. I said, "Here's mine."
Yes.
When that
But
when that
was
came
one of
out,
the first time that I actually ever saw a K-bar, and I was like,
That's why
Wow.
she didn't like you at the keyboard.
No, no, no. I was definitely like,
No,
wow,
she
that's
we list
that's it. That's what it looks like.
I remember it was spooky.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
remember
no, I
being
mean,
like,
it's-
Yeah, that's
whoa.
why we asked. We're like, you guys check to see if you ever had a hunter or a fishing license? And they're like,
It's not
what's
a
your
hunting
point?
knife. It's not a fishing
And I was
knife.
like, it's Idaho. Our jury's going to be wondering, like, do you have a history?
Oh, come on. If the prosecutor in Idaho didn't think, well, the defense attorney's going to say, well, he was a hiker living in fucking Washington, Idaho border. K-bar's normal. Could be normal. Hell, my daddy's hunts and fishes. It could be normal. If the prosecutor didn't think about that part, it wouldn't have made a much of a difference. But as a defense attorney, well, I could explain why my client purchased a K-bar knife. He enjoyed hiking in the Kamiak Butte. You never know when he's going to need this big ass knife to save himself on that trail. He liked to go at night alone.
Of like some kind of purpose with a weapon like this? And he never did. And he never had an alibi. Like, come on, people. He's not even trying to tell you where he was.
I took my K-bar up to the Kamiak at night as my friends were coming. Well, I thought they were my friends. Turns out they just were like, that's that dude again. They're coming down the hiking trail at dusk. Koberger's going up the trail at dusk, all by his lonesome. Interesting.
Looking at the stars, do you buy that?
Turned his phone off.
And there, listen, as I say, after 32 years, and I have to tell this to clients sometimes,
You're a busy man.
there are no coincidences in criminal law. Like, what are the odds his phone just happened to turn off at what,
Right,
12:32
yeah.
or whatever it
Yeah.
was,
Bad luck.
and then turn right
100%
back
battery.
on?
Turn back on.
You know, what are the odds? You know,
Yeah.
and that he'd been.
You know,
back
that's a
there.
good question. I should ask AI and just put in the known facts that nobody disputes and say,
here's
what
the
is
thing. The
statistical?
narrative for people that are pro burgers or that believe that he's innocent, they just discard that information. Say it's not true. That's not true. He didn't turn off his phone. Well, there's documents.
It stopped
They lied.
recording.
The police lied. So you can't dispute. You can't dispute that. Like if somebody's
Well, maybe it was in pocket state. It was just in pocket state. That's all. That's all that was. Weirdos.
gonna stand there and say everything the police said was a lie. These are all lies. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
we tried to go through, we pulled all the pleadings in the case because I always say, hey, you want to see what the defense thinks is the bad evidence? What are they trying to make go away? And the genetic genealogy, I just thought they have no hope in that. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, there's going to be surprise. No, it's not. And his
so
DNA was
scared.
abandoned at the scene.
Yeah, he was trying to say he had a privacy access to it. And I love what Hitler said. He's like, in the crime scene?
He's
you,
like,
you think
DNA
they
in the
needed
crime
to
scene?
contact him and ask for his permission?
Yeah,
Like,
well,
that
they
makes
didn't
no sense.
challenge anything at the crime scene because they knew it's abandoned under the law.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they were trying to come up with this unique, and I get it. They're doing
Yes,
their job.
yes.
Yeah,
We gotta
we
let
always
we
give
gotta
her
let
credit.
I think she did a great job for
She
him.
did a good job for what she did, but she also had to have that conversation with him. And this is why and I know a lot of people, the photographs and things like that, and the whole world doesn't necessarily need to see them. They need to be
the jury,
seriously. But I think
courtroom.
people need to see what true evil can do.
Yes.
And so when they're making laws and legislation or saying we're going to repeal the death penalty or something,
Yeah,
no,
there's a lot
this
of
is
truth to
what
that.
this is what
This is the
it's
ugly
for.
part of
This
it.
is
Yeah,
the ugly part. This is what evil is.
Yeah.
And I believe that obviously they looked at the evidence and they said once they see these photographs,
They'll
it's
turn
over.
on him.
It's
turn on
over, and they're going to give you death. And he knew that. He was smart enough to realize.
And the prosecutor hid that from us. Didn't let the other families know what happened to my daughter, and didn't let me know what happened to theirs. Because if we all would have got on the same page, we all would have
what
said,
happened to Kaylee because what was it?
gag order?
The gag order. So we found out
You
2
get
days.
to murder in privacy now
2
in
days
America.
before
You get a gag order and you get to murder with
2
total
days before
privacy.
sentencing, we found out how
Yeah.
many times she had been stabbed, where at.
Different
Up
weapons.
until then, we didn't know. We didn't know that her teeth were knocked out. We didn't know that her facial bones were broken. We didn't know that she was stabbed 24 times to her face. We did not know any of that.
And that's why
And I remember when they actually found all that out and Steve began to talk about it publicly. How do you unpack that? Like, how do you process that? It's hard enough to process losing a child, right? Your loved one, my God, your child. How do you process that? I don't know how you do.
jury would have given him death.
That-
We found out 2 days before the sentencing. We were
I'm
like,
sorry.
we're writing victim impact statements. We at least know the full impact? It doesn't break that down for you on a death certificate. And at that point, that's all we had was our death
So we
certificate.
knew a lot of the
We didn't
facts.
have our
We knew
autopsy
about the
report.
gag and the choking and stuff like that, but we didn't know. And the thing is, you're begging a prosecutor to tell you what happened to your kid, and they're asking you to make decisions. What do you support this? I'm like, I don't know what. Tell me what happened.
That right there has always bothered me. How can the prosecution approach the family and say, do you support this decision? Would you support this? I don't know. Are you telling me everything? And they want to say, well, we're doing you a favor by not telling you everything. Excuse me, I'll be the judge of that. Sir, was it your child? No, take a seat. I'll be the judge of what I can handle and what I can't. I can't handle you not being honest with me, thinking I'm so fragile you got to protect me. No, sir, Mr. Prosecutor. Stay in your lane.
Happened. I don't get how you can kill people and think you have a right to privacy. It doesn't make any sense.
He had a lot of rights. He had a lot of rights going through that court system. Everything I heard was his rights, his rights, his rights.
And that's the. I mean, I understand it's frustrating, and but you guys did what victims should do, and that's be at every court appearance. Let them be known, okay? Because I can tell you from the defense perspective, the worst thing you hate is when the victims show up at sentencing.
Early on, they're like, we hate seeing that. Put a face on a crime. We want it to be a faceless crime.
There at everyone, then we said.
And we're like, all right, you tell us the most we can do, and we will do it. We are that kind of family.
I have to
All right, go.
All right. So I mean, I thank you for taking the time. I'm so sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
I mean, but thanks for watching. I mean, hopefully you thought we did a fair.
You do, and you hustle. You were like, I've been gone for a couple days, been in court, and I'm like, go for it. I like educated people saying and clearing things up, because I had a case that nobody was clearing things up, and that's so frustrating to have nobodies with fan fiction narratives read that they don't understand. They're Latin and Greek, and I'm like, I just need a leader to say what the heck is going on. This is ridiculous. So I appreciate those guys that can actually lay it out and clear these things up. And if they don't want to listen, they don't want to listen, but at least it's out there.
Well, in the Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell case, the grandparents, she would call into my Patreon show, and we got to meet them, and they were like, we appreciate you just laying it out. She goes, we learn more by listening to you than what we were learning from the prosecutors.
I hired a lawyer because we literally like, what's going on? And you're not telling us. And plus we knew there was confusion on that little community. They didn't know what was going on. They weren't prepared for a crime like this. And I was like, we're going to round up the troops. We're going to get the FBI. We're going to get the governor to give money. We're going to do whatever it takes, because this case ain't going cold.
Yeah.
And you only got so much time to get people rallied. And it can just be one witness that sees one thing that can be like, go check that other camera. And that's what we were hoping for.
And I know the process can be frustrating, and the balancing of the defendant's rights versus the public and the family's right to have resolution. But you got to go through that process, and I know it's painful for you, but ultimately the truth comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And for people to say, "Oh, he didn't do it," like, he pled guilty 4 times plus the burglary. Mm-hmm. People don't plead guilty to consecutive life sentences unless they did it.
Yeah, there's these fringe cases where people plead to something that they didn't do, but they're not for. It's like a one-off, and they're like, I can't defend myself. I was a druggie. I have all these other.
I need to get out of jail. They're offering me a misdemeanor fine. I'll take it. I get that. We're not talking about a speeding ticket though, where you're speeding and they give you a defective headlamp, right? We're talking murder, where you're gonna spend the rest of your life in prison.
Alfred plea. They wanted to do an Alfred plea, and we were like, I rallied everyone and said, we ain't doing this.
I wish, and this is my own.
They wanted to do an Alfred plea. I just don't feel like that's a random, rambling Steve Gonzalez statement. It's so particular. It's very specific. So I feel like if that's true, what the hell are you doing, Bill Thompson, in Idaho? Why would you do that? If an Alfred plea is, okay, you have enough evidence to say circumstantial evidence, I reckon, to say I could have done it. Even though I didn't, I feel like you got enough to say I probably did. So, okay, but I didn't do it. That's a weird plea to me, and it's only there for like appeal stuff. Like, no, stop that. And then, okay, so now they're going to get him a regular plea, and then say, oh, well, we don't got to allocate either. No, why was all the balls in Koberger's court? Like Andy said, take all the seats. Jesus. Yeah, it sounds like that's exactly what he's saying, Pammy, is that they were approached, we want to offer that we'll give him an Alfred plea, and he's like, no, I rallied the troops. And so I'm assuming that's all the other families, right? And they all had their say so. This is the first time we're hearing about this at all. So, of course, the people who support Brian Koberger, oh, there we go. That's why we got the plea. We all knew it all along. He didn't do it, but they had enough fabricated evidence to say he might have. I got questions for the prosecutor in Idaho as to why you would even entertain such a thing. Don't make me ask some kind of questions, sir. It's not a pretty look.
In the Chris Watts case, and I like it, particularly in federal court, the judges will say, tell me in your own words what you did. And that way it takes away any doubt whatsoever.
Yeah, we wanted that too. And it would have been easy because of the way that Kaylee was killed. He would have given an explanation that an expert would say, yeah, that fits. That is the weapon that's missing. That fits the damage. And only the person who did this would know that, or an investigator.
But, I wish some of these death investigators would have a really long talk with Steve. Joe Scott comes to mind about these wounds on his daughter and this alleged unidentified weapon, because nobody's convinced there's an unidentified weapon. There are unidentified marks that they can't say were caused by one thing or another. Kind of like that one guy in Delphi is like, oh, I'm in my garage and oh, I see a box cutter. Maybe that caused all that. Yeah, that's it. I'll put that in the report. Looks like box cutter will fit. Stop it. I know Steve's not stupid. He understands that K-bar and how it can be used in multiple ways. They just want to know very specific. And I'm going to tell y'all something. You get a birth certificate right in your hands, you don't ever expect to have to get the death certificate as well. Right? They've read things, seen things, held things in their hands some of you will never have to deal with. So, of course, he's going to want to know what caused that, right? From a medical standpoint, your child has passed, this and this has happened. You want to understand every little piece of it. Your brain almost has to understand every little piece of it to make sense of it.
But for Thompson to gaslight the whole community and say, oh, well, there's no way for us to know he's telling the truth. Like, don't lie in my face. Yeah, I'm not the family you're going to get away with this. You lied in my face, and I literally told him multiple times, I will go to the media, and I will tell everyone what you did, and I will hold you accountable for it. So that's what I'm doing right now, talking.
Oh, he done told Bill, I will go to the media, and I will hold you accountable, and that's what I'm doing. Well, we're here for it. See, don't have near as many in here when I'm not talking about the streets drama. I'm talking about true crime, freaking prosecutors, and that's okay. We're gonna do us.
Told you have the right way to do it, and you can do it another way. And he did it the other way. So now I'm here saying you gaslit everyone. You lied in our face. You could have got the truth. You were just lazy, or you had other motives. I think his true motives were he ran the risk of him saying, yeah, I stalked those girls 23 times. I did this right in front of your faces. And you guys all look like idiots. I stalked him. I got right up there. I got into that house. And then he would have had to go tell the university every single time he did is documented now. This murder just went 23 times different stalking events. And now it's just going to just make us look super unsafe. And
you make us look super unsafe and a little ignorant. How two universities... Well, one university turned a blind eye to their golden boy over there with the problematic behavior going unchecked. And yeah, I don't know I can really blame University of Idaho for anything. The girls lived off campus after all. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, I feel him. I see what he's saying. Koberger would have made y'all all look pretty stupid.
They're like,
No, who cares? We got a whole bunch of people. Nanos look stupid. It doesn't matter. Make him look stupid. But no, I feel like there was just something. I don't know if Thomas was nervous. Ann Taylor would have taken Bill Thomas to school. Bill Thomas knows it. I don't know if he had that kind of fight in him because he knew what kind of case he had. You know, circumstantial at best without the sheath, and I got a problematic witness or two. I don't think Thompson's not interested in getting the truth out of Koberger. The Alfred plea, there wouldn't have been no truth because the Alfred plea says I didn't do it. So there'd be nothing to tell, right? It just says, hey, you got enough circumstantial evidence. If I go to trial, you're going to shove me under the jail and, do me dirty. So let me plea, knock off some of that time you're about to stick me with. So an Alfred plea, you don't admit you did anything. You say, I didn't do it. That's the problem with these Alfred pleas. Bill Thompson wasn't afraid that Koberger was going to lie to him. That was an excuse he used to tell people why he didn't make the guy talk. Oh, he'll just lie. Man, tell myself, I ain't simple-minded, Mr. Thompson. Sit down with that shit. That's so easy to come out here and do. Tell the public Koberger what I just lied, and they're like, oh, yeah, he's right. No, don't buy it for a second. Right, Happy. Would they have made that offer? They didn't even offer. Look, everybody does know Brian Koberger's team approached the prosecution, right, and asked for a plea deal. Did they ask for an Alfred plea and the prosecution consider it? You have to ask yourself, why did the prosecution even consider a plea deal to start with? When they've come out here and told us all we got enough evidence, slam dunk, death penalty. They didn't have to go for the death penalty. They only had to because it was a horrendous case and it qualified as a death penalty case. If they don't want the death penalty cases, do away with them. Just take him to fucking life in prison. I don't care. They need to stop it with the politics of it all. Oh, it's a death penalty case, so this, and this. I'm over it. I'm done with that shit. But according to Steve, they were like, yeah, well, we can give him an Alfred plea. So I wonder if Ann Taylor was like, well, let's see if it'll work. Can we get an Alfred plea? And Bill's like, Ann, I can't do that. People would eat me alive, man. I can't do that, Ann. How about a regular plea? But you don't got to do an allocution because you're saying your boy's still innocent, right? Yeah, okay, that sounds good. Yeah, we're all, see? Problem solved. That's how simple it was. So again, Bill Thompson, what was you afraid of? Ann Taylor and circumstantial evidence. Only thing she had going for her when pesky little sheath was never going to go away.
don't even talk to him. Zip it. We got enough. Put it to bed.
If you got 5 minutes with him, with Koberger, what would you say or do?
I wouldn't talk at all. I'd just start tearing up,
Pounding on him?
pounding, yeah.
I get it. If that was my daughter, I'd do the same thing too.
Yeah, that guy has it coming. He's got it. And word is, it's coming.
No, word is, Steve, you got connections up there in the prison. With that said, so y'all all heard the conversation. I just thought it was interesting that he said it, and then it made me wonder if that's true, because I know what I'm dealing with there. Grain of salt, duh. If it's true, why the hell would the prosecution even consider such a thing? On such a high profile case that you have said without a doubt, we got the evidence, all the things. It was bad enough they came out and said, okay, we'll let you do a plea deal, right? That was bad enough. Yeah, I don't think he would have, Joy. Hitler would have been like, y'all know how Hitler was. He'll be face palming himself, right? Making all those faces that he was always doing. He would have face palmed himself. Word is, Pammy. Word is. Where'd he get his word from? You got some insiders in the Idaho prison. Yeah, they're, people are talking about how he's not going to be in the confined safety net of the prison where the vent people can only get to him. Eventually, he would go to Gen Pop, they say. I haven't looked at his status in a while. We haven't heard anything in a minute. We heard some rumblings a while back that he wanted to be transferred, but I don't know if they ever did it. I mean, I don't guess they have. We would have heard somebody on the internet would have broke and said something about it, right? Um, I actually would have got a Vine alert on that if they moved him, but I did not. All right, we're going to get into a documents session. They dropped quite a few documents, and I don't even know. Well, hang on. I know what people are talking about tonight, but I don't know if I want to. Y'all, I'm excited that Maureen O'Connell is going to be hanging out over there with Big City Dan on the podcast. I'm going through my little checklist of stuff here. Sorry, guys. Oh, before I forget, y'all know Nanos did a little interview with KOLD. Just had more of his word salad. And that Nancy and that audio that one girl did, oh shit, I forgot her name now. Juanita, I don't know. Anyway, they pulled the audio off the Tucson police chatter. I've got all that saved too for us to review because they talk about the blood on the front porch in that chatter when they're out looking, when they first start getting the call and putting out the information on Miss Nancy. Also, there are new documents in that WSU lawsuit. They had a hearing, was it yesterday? And there was something wrong with the Zoom link. And I don't know if Sarah ever got hurt, if it ever worked for Sarah or not, but it wasn't working when I was trying it, and then I just did never go back and try it again. You couldn't stream it, air it, record it, broadcast it, or any of the things. So I didn't go live with it, but it was a hearing in the WSU lawsuit between the Gongalves and the other family members, right? And there's some new documents about that, and I believe there's a gag order talk, co-figure, for that case happening. But I got to pull up the documents and actually go through them and see what the status of that case is getting. All right, so like we said, there were some new documents brought up in the out in the Idaho 4 case. What's going on in Bakersfield? Y'all like Maureen? I think everybody does. Send me her sultry eyes. Send me my little feral friend. Yeah, look, I'll show y'all my shout out. Let me show you. So they were having a conversation the other night over at Big City Dan's live, and we were talking about the porch guy and the vine and the mat, right? And Maureen brought up the MVAC, and I was like, yes, the MVAC, please. I love that damn thing. I'm like obsessed with it. And when I first heard Dylan Mortensen describe a fireman with the vacuum, I was like, oh, was it a handheld MVAC? Everybody was like, what? I was like, never mind. Never mind. Maureen, you get it. So she was talking about bringing the guys on to do a presentation with the MVAC, right? Like, I really would have liked to, I would have loved for them to use that MVAC on that bullet found in Delphi as well. Just would have. Ow. Okay. Pammy, you still got the grands? We've all had grandchildren. Mine wore me out this weekend, little things. Well, they're not little, but they wore me out, to say the least. Okay. So we were having this little conversation over here, and this is what had happened.
Here's someone on the thing about
But
MVAC.
I'm telling you, we're going to get through this.
Yes. Salty Sleuth is saying MVAC on the front door mat. I'd love that. You and me both, Salty Sleuth. That's exactly
Yeah.
right.
I would say that those plants should be evaluated for DNA, and hopefully they could recover them with the technology that is available today. Something like MVAC might be of value.
Wow, you know what, Tammy Ballard? You're right. You just blew my mind. I didn't think of trying an MVAC, and it's so obvious. How would an MVAC potentially work on foliage?
It depends on the surface area of those leaves on that foliage, but the MVAC is designed to collect every cell. You could also use an alternate light source. If it is transfer from saliva, that's something that should give you some sort of fluorescence to maybe hone in on a particular area, so you can kind of control your surface area. But the MVAC is designed to collect every cell. I don't know if MVAC has been used on plant material, but I bet you they'd be willing to try. So it has to be somebody who's willing to go forward and say, you know what, we haven't tried it, so we can't say no.
Ah, ha, ha, ha. Yeah, they should have used that MVAC. Hey, welcome in, Mustang. Welcome in. Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming in. We are about to get into some, Jet Team Maureen. And I left a comment over there on Dan's channel because he was, apologizing for tech issues. Well, I'm over here talking, my thing mutes itself. We're a patient bunch. I told Dan to, it's all good. Well, he'll get the hang of everything. But it's good to see that we get a good, strong female voice into the space, right? Other than that one FBI agent lady we have to talk to. Well, we don't have to talk to her. We have to see things. But Salty knows things. Sometimes. Sometimes. Okay. Before I start this document, I'm going to take a brief break real quick. Let me pull it up. Actually, I'm kind of thinking I want to go at these in the order that they came down, but I know that, let's see. Yeah, Jed, I got a shout out. I was in that chat talking with them about the MVAC stuff, different things, right? And that came up, and she shouted out the comment, so it was nice. Because it's nice that they see and they respond to us, right? And Dan, being a retired police officer, doesn't give you, he's not arrogant, like, oh, I'm a retired cop, you're a nobody, listen to me, you know nothing. It's like, no, what? A good cop knows better. We need to listen to all things, and we don't get the tunnel vision. I can't, I'm scared to death of tunnel vision. I'm like, I don't know, I don't want it. I hear bad things about that. My eyesight's bad enough. Last thing I need some damn tunnel vision. Happy Saltversary. Oh, look at there. 6 months. Nice. Nice. Has it been that long? We are so happy you've been here that long. Ski Utah. See, I can't do it the way Jay does it. Although I've tried many times. Alright, this vertigo thing today has worn me out. Like, I did not expect to wake up with that. I'm like, what's going on? I don't like not feeling right. I got things to do. Like standing up and walking would be nice. I swear today, I feel like if I went live, I would have fell right out of this chair. It was so bad. I was literally planted on the couch outside when Jay was live, and then when Andy was live, I came inside for a while. Just couldn't move around a whole lot today. All right, so like I said, there was so we had the first batch dropped right in the case when they unsealed everything once the case was one and done with the plea deal and all that. They released one batch, and their plan was to do like 45 per increment, right? We'll do 45 documents, the next batch 45, and so on. Well, they did what was it, the second or third batch they did? They had to take them back. The redactions weren't correct. Like they left FBI agent names and different identifying information in and took them all back, and they finally have gotten them back out there. Journey to get there. Welcome in. Butterfly. we we just we're hot mess express for certain. She's had the migraine. Yes, I hope you feel better. Actually, I didn't. This morning I asked you how you felt, but I don't know if you ever replied back to me. Oh wow, I feel honored. So you say is it Mo? I don't want to say this wrong, and I know I've done it before. I can never do it right. Mo Ira's dog mom. I can't say it right. She's thank you. This is the longest I've been subbed to a channel. I'm so happy I found you, found Salty and all the Salties. Well, we are glad you found us, and thank you. That's nice. That's nice of you to say. It's a crazy little competitive world out there, it turns out. All right, I'm scrolling through this thing again. Let me get back down here to these new, excuse me, these new documents. They start right here. Now, some of them aren't really even going to be like 1 or 2 pages, not really, like the one they unredacted. It stipulated agreement of the parties to not mention the 2014 cell phone incident during the trial. That's at the time when Brian Koberger had stole his sister's phone when he was a teenager. That wasn't going to come into court. He absolutely did it. It was all documented, but both parties agreed it wasn't going to come into court. The jury didn't need to hear that 404B stuff, past crimes. So it was like a 2-page order, and they both agreed. So there was like nothing to that, right? All right, let me take a look at something super quick here. Oh. Okay, here's these two. All right. Okay, I'm gonna write. I gotta write this down so I can keep up with the ones I do review, because they all have like a little new tab beside them. But once you start clicking through and reading, the new will go away, and then you're like, well, which one was I at? So I always do this. Because we're gonna start with this one. The screen's not up there, guys, so you guys aren't seeing anything yet. So 1 second, bear with me, please. Okay. Let me pull it up and then I can get. Now we'll get. Oh, Lordy. This might be the only one we review tonight. It's a long one. This one is going to be Exhibit S1 State's supplemental response to request for discovery regarding the penalty phase experts. Vina Singh was the. Please note additions to the disclosure. Okay. Let me get the screen up there. I gotta get everything set up so I can see it without having to strain myself. Okay, there, got it all pulled up. All right. We know secrets. What do we know? Wait, I probably already know. Oh man. I'm trying to shake the weird funk from this space that's been over me. All right. Oh, and I got to the bottom of something earlier too. I figured out what was happening. Somebody knowing me well and all that. All right, guys, can I take a break for like 5 seconds? Well, probably a couple more minutes and 5 seconds. Well, if that didn't sound right, let me start that over. I'll be a few seconds. I have got to run to the restroom. I'll come back. We'll start to unpack this document. Let me put, I don't want to, and remind me when I get back for us because you know I'll forget to take this down. I don't want to go to walk in and go like, why is it silent in here? Dead air. What's up with the dead air, lady? So y'all talk, walk and talk, as Shorty would say, Simi. Keep 'em occupied. Run amok, you little feral friend. Run amok. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry. Sorry. All right. Let me get my shit back together here. My son put in a grocery store order earlier and they haven't come and he's like ready to go to bed. I'm like, dude, I'm on a live stream. Get it together. Anyway. Did Simi behave herself? All right. Or not? Yeah. Autocorrect is. Yeah, autocorrect's. She has a drinking problem, guys. That's what I think. Something's wrong. I feel like we need to intervene. Maybe we should. Okay. So let me get my screens back in order here. All right. It is hot tonight in Florida. Good Lord. Okay. It rained for like 6 days straight, and then the humidity's like, ha ha ha. Here I am, living large. All right. This is Exhibit S1, State's Supplemental Response. Hang on, because I don't know. I got to get a banner up here, a crawl going. All right. Pammy, you pulled a me. Stop it. I was reading Pammy's comment, guys. Oh man, don't you hate that? You're like disoriented. You're like, what the hell? Okay. This is Exhibit S1 to the state's supplemental response to request for the discovery regarding the penalty phase experts. Okay. There's going to be things in here, I believe, about the autopsies of the case. And again, there was 4 victims in this case: Xana Kernodle, Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Gonzalez, and Madison Mogan. Murder has a name. Turns out in this case it has 4. The state has disclosed Veena Singh out of Spokane County Chief Medical Examiner and Forensic Pathologist is in this supplemental discovery response. It is anticipated that the state will call Dr. Singh to testify as an expert regarding the autopsies performed at Spokane County Medical Examiner's office on November 16th of 2022. On the following individuals: Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Gonzalez, Xana Kernodle, and Madison Mogan. This response serves to supplement the information in the autopsy reports for Ethan, Kaylee, Xana, and Maddie. Attached as exhibits S1, A through D. Now, there was a lot of every time we turned around, Anne was filing another supplemental motion for discovery, and there was a bunch of S1 exhibit talk and all this. Nobody went, what is all this? Now we're learning what all these things were. And people can also now see a lot of Anne's multiple files for discovery were really much ado about nothing, turns out. It was like, I need a report from your latest expert. That was the kind of stuff being filed. But under seal, no one knew that, so it made, imaginations ran rampant as to what it could be. Why is Anne having to do that over and over and over and over? State's hiding everything. Slow your roll, cowboy. It may not be that deep. Turns out a lot of it wasn't. All right, so the attached are the exhibits S1A through D. photographs and or video and related reports as previously discovered to defense. The below is a summary of Dr. Singh's anticipated testimony, but does not repeat all specific findings that are detailed in her reports. So this would have been based on what her testimony would have been at trial. Okay. Based on Dr. Singh's education, training, and experience as chief medical examiner and a forensic pathologist, Dr. Singh will testify to performing post-mortem examinations on Ethan, Kaylee, Xana, and Madison. It is expected Dr. Singh will testify that Kaylee, Xana, and Maddie endured a high degree of pain or suffering prior to their deaths as a result of the injuries inflicted. As is expected, Dr. Singh will testify Ethan also experienced a high degree of pain or suffering prior to his death as a result of the injuries inflicted, but to a lesser degree than the other decedents. You like to torture the women a little bit longer or something there? Ethan was a big boy, wasn't he, Koberger? Fucking bastard. Dr. Singh will testify regarding chain of custody, observation, examinations, evidence collected, tests performed, and cause of death. It is Dr. Singh's expert opinion that Ethan Chapin's cause of death is multiple sharp force injuries. Dr. Singh's post-mortem exam showed a well-developed adult male with stab and incised wounds of the scalp, face, and neck. Now, this is difficult to hear and read, of course, but people need to be fully aware what this monster did to these 4 individuals and the capabilities of these people, and how there is, without absolute good cause, he's completely supported by a whole bunch of people. They just know they're going to find something in these documents to prove he's not the guy, but whatever. People need to know what he did. Because Bill Thompson fixed it where he didn't have to tell nobody. Because it was just the amount of anger felt with this type of killings. You know what I mean? It's crazy. I keep going back to what caused Koberger to be so violent, to be so full of hate for others, young people, right? Why? Because as a mother of a young person, I'd like to know what is about my kid that's going to trigger you to do some weird, what caused all that hate? Mama never saw it, none of it. She never had an inkling something wasn't right. I know my kids, and I'm like, hey, something's wrong. We're going to the doctor. Like, where's the phone book at? Let's find one. They're like, oh no, I'm better. No, don't do that again. I am that mom. Oh, we got a problem. We fixing it. You acting out and I can't fix you. We gonna find somebody who can. Lord. And then we'll see if I agree with them or not. All right, so they're talking about Ethan's wounds, face and neck, and there was stab wound of the upper chest, incised wounds of the upper extremities, stab and incised wounds of the lower extremities. Associated injuries to include perforations of the jugular vein, the subclavicle vein, and the subclavicle or subclavian artery. Now, we had read some of this stuff in some of the other documents that was unsealed. Dr. Singh will testify there was no evidence of natural disease that would have contributed to Chapin's death. Postmortem toxicology showed Chapin had a blood alcohol concentration of 0.122 and the amphetamine level of 260 NG/ML. Now we both know, we all had seen in the unredacted stuff that we already reviewed, there was some blue powder in the Xana's bedroom on the dresser. It did come back positive for amphetamine. What is that? Kids do the Ritalin, snort the Ritalin or whatever. I guess they were into that. Him and Xana would do that from time to time. In addition, Dr. Singh will provide testimony regarding evidence that the knife used on Chapin showed indications that there was a blade guard. So you know that means he went all the way in with that knife. For them to know that the blade guard hit the body all the way in. It's a fucking devil, Kimberly, right? And to think you had to allow your youngest to fly and go off to college knowing you lost one at college. That's what they just went through, the Gonzalez family. They have a daughter in college right now, their youngest. And to give her all the confidence and security she needs, right, to go to college and not live in fear, and to live her life the way she deserves to. And in the back of their minds, I'll be freaking out. You can't say it never will happen again. You know what I mean? You can't say never, never, never. You cannot say never, because look what happened. Singh will provide testimony regarding evidence that the knife used on Chapin showed indications there was a blade guard. Singh will provide her opinion that Chapin's wounds are consistent with a single-edged knife as the source of the wounds. Dr. Singh will provide her opinion that the use of a K-bar full-size U.S. Marine Corps fighting knife is consistent with the injuries observed. And with that type of weapon, it's not like a bullet's involved and you can say what kind of gun may have fired the bullet, right? With knives, you can only get your best, hey, it could have been a bunch of different knives. Well, it turns out Koberger had purchased a big-ass knife called a K-bar and then turned around and bought a replacement sheath once he lost his other one. It is Dr. Singh's expert opinion that Kaylee Gonzalez's cause of death is multiple sharp force injuries. In addition, blunt force injuries of the head and asphyxial injuries are a significant contributor to her death. Dr. Singh's post-mortem exam showed a well-developed adult female with stab and incised wounds of the scalp, face, and neck, stab and incised wounds of the chest, and stab and incised wounds of the upper extremities. Did he straddle these victims, all of them, except Xana was the one on the floor doing all the physical fighting? The rest were doing defense moves with their upper extremities. Startled awake in the bed, somebody's over me, stabbing me. The hell. Associated injuries include punctures of the outer table of the skull, injuries to the teeth and tongue, perforations of the subclavicle artery and vein. The only thing I'm having a hard time, because we know this all happened, none of this was super quiet. Even a frustrated man straddling two women, beating them to a pulp and stabbing them mercifully, none of that was quiet. There were sounds being made of some sort. When we hear everything Xana went through, now, I don't imagine there was blood curdle screaming happening, but there was noises happening. I'm not so sure that Xana was screaming like a little girl, like everybody's expecting. Why aren't we hearing all these screams? Yeah, I want to know why Dylan didn't hear more either, but I don't know if we had full-on screams, but I know we had a lot of noise in this house. We know she was hearing a lot of things happening outside that door. To realize this is what all was happening outside your door and you never knew it. Boy, me and myself and I would have some serious ass talks with each other. That's a lot happening outside my door that I'm completely confused about, but I'm going to have to let it go, I reckon. Associated injuries include punctures of the outer skull and teeth and tongue. Okay. Dr. Singh observed blunt force injuries, including scalp laceration, bleeding around the brain, and nasal fracture. Because honestly, guys, y'all know it wouldn't have took much to kill these people. If that was your only intention, to get in there and just quickly kill. It wouldn't have took a lot. Two of them were asleep in the same bed. You might have startled one, but you could have just done it and got out. It was like once it started, it was like unleashed madness. Because 3 of these people were a surprise. I'm pretty sure. Koberger didn't say, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. Dr. Singh will testify that an unidentified object was pressed across Concalves' mouth. Now, Steve has talked about that openly, right? In interviews, that and it was explained to him even that it could have been the K-bar turned sideways and pressed down over her mouth. Or people were like, oh, it could have been, was it just his hand covering her mouth? It doesn't appear from the markings left there was caused by something, like tool markings, right? They don't know what exactly caused the marks. Dr. Singh observed petechial hemorrhages in the eyes and mouth. And with that said, because there's an unidentified object, people were like, oh, was there a gun? Did he hit her with a gun? There's no indication there was any weapon like that used. And it also kind of feeds the supporters' theories that there was more than one person. See, multiple weapons used. And I'm just not buying that. You're not always going to know exactly what caused everything. I've seen too many court cases to know better. Dr. Singh will testify that there was no evidence of natural disease that would have caused or contributed to Concalves' death. Post-mortem toxicology showed Concalves had a blood alcohol concentration of 0.107. Dr. Singh will provide her opinion that Concalves' wounds are consistent with a single-edged or double-edged knife being the source of the wounds. Singh will provide her opinion that the use of a K-bar, full-size U.S. Marine Corps fighting knife, is consistent with the injuries observed. Singh's expert opinion that Xanocronodal's cause of death is multiple sharp force injuries. Singh's post-mortem exam showed a well-developed adult female with stab incised wounds of the scalp, face, and neck, stab wounds of the chest, abdomen, and incised puncture wounds of the back. Which we knew that with looking at the photos. Incised wounds of the upper extremities and incised wounds of the lower extremities. Because the back, I just I cannot with this guy, because I know Xana ran away from him. He catches her and stabs her in the back as she's trying to get away. Don't worry, I'm here to help you. How the hell do you hear, don't worry, I'm here to help you, but you heard nothing else? I gotta try to stay in my lane on that. Y'all pull me back in when y'all feel me slipping, because I don't want to be ugly. But damn it, man. Dr. Singh also observed associated injuries, including punctures of the outer table of the skull, perforations of the jugular vein, heart, lung, and pulmonary blood vessels, hemorrhage into the chest cavities, and wounds extending into the bones of the hand. We all knew early in this investigation, as things were leaked, that it appeared Xana grabbed that blade at least at one point, or it sliced her hand as she's trying to defend herself. It feels like she may have grabbed at it, trying to fight it off. Can you imagine looking at this damn monster as he's like full throttle on you? You don't even know why, what's happening. It's all happening so fast, and there's just this terrifying man after you. Hey, poor Miss Nancy getting aroused in the middle of the night and taken out of her house. Everybody online speculating all kinds of weird shit instead of wondering what really happened. We're speculating and got the tunnel vision, and it's scary. People walk right into people's homes and do horrible things to them. Y'all secure your homes. Teach your babies to lock their doors when they leave and move out into the world on their own. It's not a safe place to be. My son yelled at me, "Why are you locking the back door?" I'm like, have you met my dad's son? Your grandpa. Have you met my son? Have you met him, son? Met my dad. If I called my dad and said somebody broke into my house and did this and that, he's going to say, "Were your doors locked?" "No, sir." "Girl." My dad did not play when it come to his daughters. Lock your fucking door. I don't want to hear I live in a safe place. I live in the middle of nowhere. Guess whose doors are locked? Crazy can live anywhere. I don't know when a psycho is going to lose their shit tomorrow. Out here in the boonies? Fuck. I got nowhere to run. Who's going to hear me? In addition, Kernodle's injuries included scrapes and bruises on the face, torso, and extremities. There was no evidence that natural disease would have caused or contributed to Kernodle's death. Postmortem toxicology shows she had a blood alcohol concentrate of 0.229, and her amphetamine level was 12 ml. Like, I don't even know if that's higher or low. I don't know nothing about those damn numbers, right? What that even means. But hers and Ethan's was very, very different. Right, Pammy, always lock up. You don't ever know. You just don't ever know, right? Like, I ain't trying to invite the danger in. Singh will provide her opinion that Kernodle's wounds were consistent with the single-edged and double-edged knife being the source of the wounds. In addition, the handle or tip of the knife could account for the appearance of serration on some of Kernodle's face wounds. The handle or the tip of the knife could account for the appearance. Like, did he just like pick at her fucking face with the what are you doing? Or those cause when she's trying to get away? They're not that. What kind of sick shit? Dr. Singh will opine that this serration could be caused by Kernodle fighting or holding, touching the knife, or hand that is holding the knife causing the injury. Damn it. I wish there could have been conclusive DNA under her nails. She's literally trying to hold that man back out of her face with that thing. Oh, I won't see whose comment for a minute. Sorry, I was reading. I looked down. Simi's calling me out. Who done miss? What done miss? Simi, I missed somebody's comment. Salty, is it okay if one of the mods drop my link? Sure, everybody can go over there and check you out. Your true crime channel. Sorry, I'm not familiar. People can go check you out, and then they can decide if they like you. I will check you out. I don't know. Yeah, definitely lock your doors. Don't just teach your daughters to lock their doors. Teach your boys to do it too. I got 2 girls and 2 boys. They get the same rules. We don't get that girls and boys are different shit in my household. No, 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 no. The same. Safety for everybody. Okay. Okay, Pammy. I'm sorry. I said Pammy, but I was looking down scrolling. I meant to say Simi, and Pammy's name popped up right behind it. Sorry. Okay. In addition to the handle and or tip of the knife could account for the appearance. Okay. Singh will opine that the serration could be caused from her fighting, holding, or touching the knife or the hand, causing the injuries. Singh will provide her opinion that the use of the K-bar full-size U.S. Marine Corps fighting knife is consistent with the injuries observed. It is Dr. Singh's expert opinion that Madison Mogan's cause of death is multiple sharp force injuries. Singh's post-mortem exam showed a well-developed female, an incised wound of the scalp, face, and neck, stab wounds of the chest, inside wounds in the upper extremities. Singh also observed associated injuries, including wounds of the lung and liver, as well as perforations of subclavian vein, subclavian artery, blood vessels of the chest wall. There was no evidence of natural disease that would have caused or contributed to Ms. Mogan's death. Postpartum toxicology showed that Maddie had a blood alcohol concentrate of 0.282. Singh will provide her opinion that Mogan's wounds were consistent with a single-edged knife as the source of the wounds. Singh will provide her opinion that the use of the K-bar full-size U.S. Marine Fighting Corps fighting knife is consistent with the injuries above. Guy like that deserves even the thought of a Alfred plea or an actual plea deal at all. I mean, all that. He did all that. So it's okay. We'll just give him a plea deal. Y'all calm down. Justice is served. I'm feeling salty. Dr. Singh will testify that a single large blade, a knife, could be responsible for all wounds observed on Ethan, Chapin, Gonzalez, Kernodle, and Mogan. Singh's opinion testimony will be based on her experience, education, and training as detailed in her curriculum vitae. Lordy, that 3-hour presentation we do on the witness stand. Tell us about your background. Sure, 3 hours later. Okay, these look like the pathologist reports. Okay, so this is the this is Office of the Medical Examiner, Chief Medical Examiner Singh's forensic pathologist. Let me get this where I can. There we go. Investigative reports indicate that this 20-year-old male, Ethan Chapin, was found deceased at his girlfriend's shared home. 3 other occupants of the home were also found deceased. Post-mortem exam showed a well-developed adult male. This goes through pretty much everything that we just read, so I'm not going to read through all of this because that's just outlining the opinion, which we've already read. The body, see, I'm not going to read all that, supine in a sealed bag and all that. We know, we get. I don't think there's going to be any issues with the way that one all went down, so I'm not going to read all that. All right. This goes into his height and weight and all the things about all of that. The body was refrigerated. It goes into all the details, guys. Rigor mortis is receding in the muscles of the jaw and extremities. Fixed dark pink liver mortis is present. See, I don't even know if there's any point in me reading all this. It's so bad. When first viewed, blood is caked over the neck and in the left ear, and dried in smears and rivulets over the face, chest, and arms. And for people to say there was no blood in that house, there was a cleanup. It was all over these victims, seeping out of the fucking walls, man. Or a wall. We saw it. We all saw it. The scalp hair is brown, wavy, and measures 5 inches. So they're talking about Ethan's hand, hair there. There's just no reason to go through all of this. I don't feel like there is, guys. I can drop the link to this document if y'all want to read it out loud. And I don't mind reading it. I just don't see the point. We already know about the injuries, right? And the severity. Wounds are described in an arbitrary order, which does not imply sequence or severity. So this is like the entrance wound, and they're going to start with those types of descriptions. Stab and incise wounds of the head and neck. And apparently Ethan had like 4. So on the right, parietal scalp above the right ear. And they go into of course, the diameters of each one, and how they were all there. Each one of the wounds they were describing in what we read a few minutes ago. You remember seeing this, Simi, with the blood coming down outside the bricks outside of Xana's wall, running down the house toward the basement there, right under where Ethan was laying in that bed. The wound track travels from the decedent's back to front and downward to a depth of approximately 7 inches. The amount of adrenaline that Koberger must that adrenaline drop after all this, and then you go past that survivor's door. Did you just not have it in him anymore? Did he just not see her? Like, what was he thinking during all? No thinking at all. Just like enjoy, and then afterwards it was like, oh man, what did I just do? What? How do killers sit with themselves, right? The next day he's all thumbs up into mom in the shower or in the bathroom before he heads back over to King Road to wonder if he left his sheath outside or inside, because she's not sure where he dropped it. So it's got to go back and look just in case. Do I go back in? Is there, hey, what do I do? Lateral left cheek, left ear. So here's one that we had heard. Who was it? Annie Elise. That's her name, right? The Tender Life chick, the Annie Elise. She came out in the very beginning of this case, and she put out a video. And that is where WSU mom Kim got a lot of her information from, that she turned around and mailed the T-Rev and told him it was all true, and turns out a whole other bullshit story. But Annie said that a friend of hers dated an FBI agent. And this FBI agent, apparently these FBI agents run amok and like to be sources for people. Everywhere we turn around, we got a new one ready to talk. But anyway, he had went into the wounds with Ethan, and apparently stabbed in the legs all the way down to the bone, and like it went all the way down his leg like a big slice. It was horrifically described. We've never really got confirmation on all of Ethan's wounds like that, right? But we heard that it was pretty, like in one of the early docs we read here, there was something about a possible carving on Ethan's leg. And I'm like, we are now really putting a lot of time on the window here. We're already running a tight timeline for this guy to get in this house and do all this. Now when are we finding the time to do that too? The wound track travels from the decedent's left to right and back to front to a depth of approximately 1 inch. And it's not a stretch of the imagination to understand this stuff right here is all happening super fast. Not as fast as we even think, though, but it's still fast. It's all happening fast, right? Wasn't nothing slow mo going on. An abundant associated soft tissue hemorrhage. The left jugular vein is perforated. The wound track travels from the front. See, it's just it's wild that it kept going to extremes, right? Oh, really, Kimberly? Yeah, you can't help it. You just want to know, tell me. I'm that I could so be one of those psychologists that do walk into these prisons and talk to these guys. I wouldn't walk in there. I'm not like the average person. I'm not going to feel the same way most would. Like I'm scared. Like I don't want to be in the room. He's disgusting. He's a freak. No, tell me all the shit, son of a bitch. Tell me. Tell me. Let me get a fresh cup of coffee and you tell me more because I'm going to listen and write it all down and we're going to have a talk because I got to understand it. I cannot live in a society where I'm okay with we don't understand nothing. It's just people being stupid. What is making people be stupid? Like y'all don't want to figure it out and fix it. We allow what we tolerate. And I can't tolerate stupid anymore. It's just dumbing down my brain. So this is still going on about Ethan's poor Ethan, man. All these kids, man, young adults, have their whole lives just snapped gone in an instant because somebody had some strange thoughts in their head roaming around for God knows how long. And Bill Thompson just wants America to believe he'd just lie to you. Take my word for it. Now everybody's convinced all these criminals just liars. Did y'all watch BTK's stuff? He didn't lie, and he's pretty matter of fact about what he did. Why wouldn't Koberger be that way? Danny Rollins has done the same thing. Why wouldn't Koberger do that eventually? Bill Thompson, have you not studied up on stuff like that, sir? FBI was like, what's that man talking about? Hell, they got Rex Heuermann to agree to talk. Lateral right knee is a gaping 4x1 linear incised wound. If Ethan is in bed and you're attacking to immobilize, kill, whatever, why are you doing all this to knees? So he can't get up and run? You've already done enough to the upper body. Why are we doing all this extra? It feels this is a little bit beyond overkill. Like a lot of rage came out in this guy. Did attacking everything that I can't be, would love to be, what psychologically unpacking that part of it, what sent him into this next level of I'm going to do this, this, and this on top of all this I've already done, and don't worry, I'm here to help you, if that was even said. Turns out that was a line in a movie that the girl liked to watch too, so who knows? Okay, let me scroll on down here. They're just describing the respiratory system, the liver. I'm just skimming through, guys, to see if there's anything in there we need to jump out that I like. Okay, let's read that, but nothing is going to change my mind about who did this to them, right? In this report right here, I'm not looking for that kind of stuff, and it just doesn't feel like I need to read all this. Everything else did appear normal. That's what I'm looking at here, the endo system, the muscular system. I'm looking at all that too. But everything else with him, like she said, there was no medical issues with any of these youngsters. Nothing that would have contributed to their death. I don't know, Butterfly. Ethan was a young man, right? Koberger's a 28, was a 27-year-old man. Ethan was 20, 7 years on him, but Ethan was athletic, into golf, into all the athletic things that he liked to do. He played ball and different things. Koberger liked to hike. Yeah, Ethan probably could have put a hurting on him. And just like Danny Rollin, he went into a home one night to commit a crime and didn't realize there was a man inside. And he was faced for the first time with a male victim with his little K-bar, because that was his weapon of choice. BTK accidentally had a male involved. Wasn't expecting him to be there, Mr. Ortega. But there he was. So he had to, but you would think if he was actually had stalked this home or watched these women, legally he was not stalking in the state of Idaho. So they weren't going to be able to go into court and say that. So legally we cannot call him stalking. He was surveilling. Hold on, cat was distracting me. Let me go down here. All right, so this is going to go on and on with that one. Let me actually see what else in this one. The girls will all be in here. So it goes through the different substances that were looked at and tested and analyzed, an analysis summary, and reporting limits. All the following tests performed in this case. The only thing about these kids being impaired, it would have their reaction time, right, to fight back would have been slower, or it would have been off a little, maybe their senses and all the things. Maddie was having a good old time that night. We see her at the grub truck, and it's, people are like, oh, she's sloppy drunk. To me, she wasn't. To me, she was having a good time. The girl could stand up, right? She wasn't stumbling. She swayed a couple of times, but she had a nice night out. So what? When I was 21 years old, guess what I did? Same thing. With my friends. Same thing. So none of this stuff would have, changed a lot, except they're just reaction time. Then it goes into Kaylee's, and there's just no need to read the depth, the size, and all the things. We know it was horrific. Because when you really start to look at it, it just reiterates it's like, how did, and people are gonna be like, well, how could one guy do all that? Well, you just imagine it for a moment. You ever seen a movie? Put the man on top of two victims and he's just going to town with this fucking knife. You can't imagine that, right? What's wrong with people? Oh no, your phone died. Did you get it back up and running? At the tip of her nose there was a superficial linear wound. So she could have been turning her head, the fighting back, the wild stabbing motions. Who knows? There was no rhyme or reason to. I don't think it was like, oh, I'm going to purposefully inflict this type of wound. It was just boom, boom, bam, bam. You know what I mean? That's how chaotic it seemed. On the left cheek is a cluster of at least 5 stab wounds, ranging from a quarter to 1 inch in length and 1 to 3/16 inch wide, oriented in various directions. At least 3 of these wounds show one squared end and one sharp end. One end of a K-bar is sharp, one end is a square end. Joseph Scott Morgan's wife ordered him a K-bar because she knew he was going to need it when this case happened because of the type of knife. He needed to examine it. He wanted to look at it. He wanted to hold it, feel it, and he showed it. And he showed you exactly how the butt of that knife is designed and what it was capable of doing. You know, in case you need a man to mansplain because they know stuff. Women, we're not all about the drama. We see it. Fucking allergic to that shit right at the moment. Associated findings: dark brown abrasion present at the edges of the wounds. Okay, yuck. They need to quit. Like, they just need to unpack this stuff at once and get some different records out there. Good Lord. Okay, so toxicology, all that with Kaylee's. I'm just looking to see if there was anything else in particular in this one. Maddie, it feels like when we read other reports, Maddie had the least. Maddie didn't fight back the way everybody else did, or Kaylee and Xana, right? Ethan didn't fight back the way the girls did. They were both in bed when attacked. Maddie was first. You can tell because Maddie didn't have as many defensive wounds as Kaylee. That's my opinion on that. Because that's why people were wondering in the very beginning of this case, when Steve was coming out and talking about the severity of Kaylee's wounds, like they didn't match what Maddie's were. They seemed to be more, next level, all the things. So did that indicate she was the target? Or did it indicate she woke up while Maddie was being attacked and he fucking went full on? Yeah. Piers, that's what happened. Wait, what was that? Okay. I was just looking at something. Okay, and then that goes into Maddie's, and then of course it'll go all the way down into Xana's as well. Oh man. And if I don't know if I would read all this or not. I might one day. I don't know how long it would take me to get to reading it. I think I would eventually, but I don't know when that time would be if I was the parent of the child. I can't answer that because I know me. I'm going to look eventually, but it just might take me a while. He does need to pay the ultimate price, Kimberly. I can agree. And if Steve's right, it's coming. So why, that to think that there are people in this world that we already know people want to hurt each other, right? But that there could be someone living that what causes them to hate society or to hate a type of individual or to hate this group because are they something I can't be? Like people say, oh, he Koberger, idolized what's his name, Bundy. I'm like, I don't think so. He wanted what Bundy had, that charm, that charisma, where I can get the girl in the car without having to kidnap her. He didn't have that. But he had what Danny Rollin had, big ass K-bar in a house that backed up to the woods. He took Danny's advice on that one and visited that website several times looking at Danny's stuff, even after he committed these crimes and went home to Pennsylvania for the holidays, continued to look at Danny Rollins on the littlemurder.com, serialkiller.com. And Danny Rollin, y'all, that guy decapitated one of his victims, propped her body on the end of the bed in a weird way, put her head on the fireplace mantle staring back at her freaking body. So when the cops walk in, that's how they find that scene. The hell? That's the kind of guy he was reading about and idolizing about and going and buying the copycat knife from. That guy. And now he's in this house doing all of this. What creates these people? If you suspected your son was growing up to be this, what would you do? Would you ignore it? Oh God, I hope he grows out of it. My son so much as put a finger on a girl, a fucking pinky. You ain't got to worry about her daddy coming, the law getting called. Baby boy, your mama's coming. What the fuck are you doing? You worry about that. And I have told my kids that. I'd never had to worry about that, but I'm like, this is what's going to happen. If this ever happens, don't worry about her calling her daddy or the law. Your mama's coming, son. More mamas should be like that. She pisses you off that bad, pack your shit and come home. Get away from her. Don't put your hands on her. If she puts hers on you, let me know. I'm on my way. We ain't have none of that bullshit. All right, so they go through all the Maddies as well. See, hers is not even. She just did not fight back as like the rest did. Okay, and what's this? I mean, sometimes people like they want all of the documents, and we do, but I don't know if I need to really see all this. And they're not even here to say, hey, would you not read my shit like that? You know what I mean? It's like we're going to read about the injuries and things of that nature because it's pertinent to the case, but a lot of that extra stuff's just not it doesn't change things for me. It doesn't move the needle, so to speak. It doesn't take away from who did it. Santa's man. Okay. Postmortem exam showed a well-developed adult female with stab and incised wounds of the scalp, face, and neck, 23 to be exact. Stab wounds of the chest were 7, the abdomen 4, incised and puncture wounds of the back there were 3, incised wounds of the upper extremities 25, just on her upper extremities. Doesn't count the 23 on the face and neck. Associated injuries included punctures of the outer table of the skull, the jugular, the heart, the lung, pulmonary vessels. Oh, it goes on and on and on. And then Dylan Mortensen said that she heard a man's voice say, "Don't worry, I'm here to help you." I still would like to know how was that a loud, "Don't worry, I'm here to help you"? Or was it a, "Don't worry, I'm here to help you"? Because it makes a difference, because you heard that shit from your fucking bedroom and Xana was in her bedroom. So I'd like to know how you heard that. That's my last lingering question for that girl, for that witness. Sorry, for that witness. Apologies. I forgot. Gotta be nice. I don't have to be it. I just Jesus might get mad at me or something. I don't know. She's a child. No. I don't know. It really pisses me off when I read this about Xana, guys. I've always all of these kids, right? I've always, oh, it's hard to describe the Idaho 4 kids to me, for me, what it is. Santa, there was always something about that girl, and to know how hard, we always knew that she fought hard, right? When you go reading it and you realize even more so. Right, Rachel? More interested in what we don't know than what we do know, right? We do know a lot of this. We know about the horrendous nature of their injuries. Uh, we've known for a while, and we saw the photos when they out of the bedrooms of what all that looked like. We saw the mess. Some, but to me, I am dying to get into some of the legal documents though, where Anne was trying to get stuff done and the state's fighting her on it. Cause I like to look at that legal aspect part of it too, and that's what I'm going to be getting into the unpacking of next. I wanted to get this document done and out because I just don't know if this is going to change anything. It will for a lot of people. Well, the people who want it to be something and want it, who can't seem to let this case go, it's going to be something, right? They're going to find something about these reports that's weird or something is not. I've not seen it yet. I've got weird thoughts because Idaho 4 is doing weird stuff. Bill Thompson's doing weird stuff, but I don't know why. That doesn't mean I don't think Koberger's the guy. I just want to know why certain things were done, right? And as the interview room would say, we're just asking questions. All right, this document's almost over. See, it was 75 pages dedicated to the autopsy reports of these 4 young people who have no right to say, hey, I wish you guys wouldn't, or nothing. They have no rights, apparently. They have no right to even ask such a thing. In fact, preliminary reports should be just fine when it comes to death reports. And people who are sick individuals who think that's not enough, are you saying that medical examiners are lying across the board in every case that we'll ever look at and can never be trusted. Yeah, we know it happens, but I'm not ready to live in a society where I got to say that's the case, right? I got to read every little detail of that report. You sick weirdo. No, I don't need to. Unless we got a shady medical examiner that we don't trust, right? Like, how did they conclude that weird stuff? But that's not the case with this document in this particular case. All right, let me scroll through my chat for a minute. I'm so glad my vertigo's feeling better. Whoa, that was crazy today, y'all. What happened, Kimberly? What happened with Grandma? Yeah, look. They do have more rights. The defendants have a lot of rights compared to what victims have. The victims' rights. Victims' rights really aren't even spoken of in the Constitution, right? It's defendants' rights for a reason. Defendant rights are absolutely important, but there's a lot of rights in place for them already. A lot of good ones, a lot of good safeguards that need to be out there. I got no problem with defendants' rights. I can't say that I don't, because I fucking absolutely want Rick Allen to have all his rights. Koberger deserves every single one of his, but so do victims, right? I can't take away Koberger's rights because I don't like him and give them all to Rick Allen. I don't. I'm not playing that wishy-washy bullshit either. That's a little ridiculous. I want that fair for everybody, right? But victims have rights. They should have more rights than they do. It wasn't until people decided to do FOIA requests, get Stock's autopsies out of the Florida, because he was found in Florida. They get them because Florida's a big FOIA state, but it's a child. They get them, then they're going to sell them on the Patreon. Oh, come over here and buy this baby's autopsy photos, you sick individuals. And then caught a lot of hell for it. And now Florida has said, not so fast. Now we have a law to protect these kids, and you're not getting that shit no more in a FOIA request. How about that? Now nobody gets Maddie's. Maddie Soto's will never be unveiled because of what happened in the Gannon Stalk case. I absolutely believe in my state sunshine law. FOIA, everything, get it all out there. I want transparency, but some things, come on. We don't need to see it all, right? Give a little bit. Give a little bit of a dignity as all there is to it. We require the summary reports. We have to have that in the case, but I don't need all the rest. Unless we feel like there's a bad decision. Like in the Ellen Greenberg case, for instance, right? We see all the multiple stab wounds this woman allegedly gave herself in the back of her neck. So it's important to see a lot of this stuff, but there's times we don't need to see it or read it, so we're good. Oh, goodness. Okay, Kimberly, I'm reading that now. Yeah. But PTSD, right, Kimberly? I mean, if it happened that close to home and you're like, wow, if it could happen right there, right? That's how I don't think people realize how fast things do happen, how quickly things can change or turn on a dime. What if somebody breaks down coming down your road and now they're desperate, right? And your house just happens to be right there. Don't tell me that won't happen. It could happen, right? I don't want to live in a world where I got to be paranoid and scared all the time, but I'm not going to live in a world where I'm in a fucking head in a cloud and oblivious, right? Asking for trouble. We're not doing it. All right, guys, I think I'm going to go for the night. I feel like I need a snack. I don't know what I want, though. I need to sleep, honestly. I feel like I bet all day I just been getting more tired. I don't know what's wrong. Yeah, we can't. And everybody stay safe out there. Stay safe on them YouTube streets. My God, it's going nuts out there with all the infighting and outer fighting, and I don't even know what's going on with all that anymore. I'm glad Andy got her live back up. I wish messy ass women wouldn't complain about somebody spoke bad about me. Go have a talking to. I wish guys wouldn't approach each other at the crime con. You talk about me, man. Yeah, you talk about me. I wish weirdos wouldn't load up in a car and drive across the country and do weird shit together, but they do, you know. Peace out. So we're trying to come out. And then you got weirdos and come out. They were good friends with, or how was that put? I don't even remember how it went down. Knew me well or something. Like I don't even know you. I knew of you. There's too much weirdness going on out here. I just want to talk true crime with my friends. Guys, we did so we got a lot more documents in this case to unpack, but I'm going to go through. I've already went through a couple and got a couple highlighted. I'm going to look through some more. And when I see the ones that we really need to come out and talk about or I want to talk about, because I'll be like, I want to talk about that, I'm going to talk about it. If there's not a ton there that it's like what's the point? But I want them to get to the stuff about certain things, so I will be looking for those certain documents. And there's a lot of the motion and lemonies that I want to look at as well. So as I look through those, I'll get those ready and we'll go live and talk about those. I will not be sitting in Idaho for a week straight. I might do a document or two here and go back because there's different things happening on different days in this true crime world on the cases we're covering. So I just sometimes I don't know what I'm going to do that day. I might know tonight what I'm going to do tomorrow, and I might not. I don't like to plan tons of things because I'm like, no, no, screw you. I'm going to do what I want. I might wake up in the morning with a whole other attitude, right? And we'll get back to it when we get to it. But there are a couple of things that I have on the list here that I want us to go over together, and we will get that done. I also wanted to look at that stuff that I was talking to you about, where Chris McDonough is reviewing the blood in Nancy's, and the whole thing about that whole conversation. Like he said, that doesn't change anything. Just means I think they walked that way with Nancy. But the big problem is, where was the car, sir? Like, and calm down, doctor. Nothing was staged. Anyway, speaking of Chris McDonough, next weekend, I'm thinking in my head, but that's dangerous. I think it's next week, maybe a couple nights. I don't know. They're going to do their part 2, I guess, with John Ramsey over there. Remember how they were doing they did the one show already? A lot of us watched it. We reviewed it. We had some things to say. They're going to do their second episode. That's coming up. I will be watching that as well because I want to review that when it comes. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. Everybody go get some sleep tonight. Uh, all the things. Go out there and just try to be good people. You know, support families when you see them out there, these victims. And, you know, of course, we know that sometimes you got to look at a family, right? But a lot of times you don't. There's just no reason to. That shouldn't be our first go-to in America anymore. Oh, that's a family, last person to see them, because then they got to sit through all the speculation and all the theories until all that's cleared away, and then everybody can get all over that and go find the real suspect. Sometimes they are the real suspect, but we don't want. If we go with that mentality every single time, we're going to lose a lot. And I don't want to sit in that place yet. So be mindful when y'all are out there. And when you see all this drama popping off between Hella, Jay, Jolene, all of that, remember Crescia and Kay and why it all started. Why everybody got mad at Lauren. They didn't, half of them didn't even know who Lauren was or Crescia. Remember that. They saw what caught traction and came out. I support the family. Watch me go. Fabulous work. They forgot what they went after HTC for. After all, anyway, y'all be safe out there in them YouTube streets, and damn it, use your mind. You know what I'm saying? Use our minds. Y'all have a good night. I'll see you back here tomorrow.
Thank you all for watching this here video. Please like and subscribe and follow. Much love from Little Yas to